Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Success and Love and Joy. I'm so excited to be here today with Rebecca Schleifer, who I adore. She's wonderful. She's a business coach. She's 47. She's also an entrepreneur. And so Rebecca's going to share her story and what happened and where she is now that she met a yummy soulmate, Todd. So Rebecca, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy that you're here.
You're very welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Yay. Awesome. So I wanted to share, we do these interviews to really show you guys like what is really possible. That if it could happen for Rebecca, it could happen for you, right? We all start out with trauma and bad dating and bad relationships and childhood trauma, but we're successful. So Rebecca, let's start at the beginning of your story. So what was your dating life like before you came to me? What was it like?
Well, it wasn't very active because I got lost in work. I would describe myself as kind of like a workaholic.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of failed relationships and I just kind of took myself out. And then I tried to enter back into dating without a coach. And woo, that was harsh.
Yeah.
So I just couldn't get my act together. The results just weren't there. So
Yeah.
I knew it was broken.
Yeah,
That's a good
totally.
word.
Yeah. And these failed relationships, like, what did you notice was mostly wrong about the matches or the people that you had been with previously?
I always wanted more. I didn't have a very good model of marriage, so I had to figure that part out. But like I think they were safe bets, but they didn't inspire me. They didn't like when you're going for the gold and you want your soulmate, you want all the things. You don't want to leave out two things and have three and be like, well, this is the best I can get, or time is running out, or any of those things that you tell yourself.
That's
So
right. And so when you were with those guys that were like maybe safe bets, but they weren't the whole thing, like how did it feel in those relationships? I know it's we're going back in time, but
yeah, I would say lonely and not connected.
yep, it's a big problem to feel that way. And then we know it's just not working. And then we invest a lot of time. How much time did you invest in those relationships?
4 years, 5 years. Yeah.
5 years, 5 years. Yeah. And then we go off to be out by ourselves and we're working. And so speaking of like childhood, like modeling, like not having an example, what was the modeling like for you when you were growing up?
Modeling for marriage or modeling for love?
Both.
Okay. So for love, I feel like I really had to kind of prove myself. And there was a lot of protection going on as a kid, just because I was raised by a narcissistic mom, and then I had a dad who really wouldn't stand in there and fight for me. So I was hiding behind all of that. Like, I have to be tough. And you're not really lovable when you've got that tough exterior on. So, and then my model for marriage, and this is the truth, I never even wanted it until so I'm 47 now. I couldn't even go there in my head until like probably in my 40s. Cause I'm like, if this is the best it's gonna get, I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? And then I had a lot of friends who were getting divorces, and I'm like, there's got to be. So there was that. I had the parent thing, and then friends. Do you know what I mean?
Too.
So, and I knew in my heart of hearts there was another way. I knew there had to be a different paradigm. So
Right, right. So you bring up some very important points. So when we grow up with parents who don't model sweet, healthy love for us, right, or a mom who's narcissistic, and many of our listeners could relate to that because many of them have dated a narcissist. And then we research narcissism, and, narcissist, someone who really doesn't have empathy, they're love bombing you, and it can't work. And so we grow up in that model. Yeah, we put up walls of protection
Mhm.
because we don't feel so lovable. That's right. And those walls, and when we don't feel so lovable, how do we compensate? How do we spend our time?
Oh, you just overwork. I mean, that's where I got all my joy, and it was always doing stuff.
Oh,
And yeah, and so that is the difference. Like the man that I'm with right now, he was like, I like you because of you, not because of what you do, not because of what you've done. And that's a huge paradigm shift.
it is. It is. So to continue with the story, what had you realized that it wasn't working? So what was the point in time? What was happening for you that we came together, that you realized you wanted coaching, you wanted a plan?
So I knew that my receiving muscle, I knew that that protection thing, it was very obvious to me that I was basically um not attracting anybody. And I was repelling people. And so I knew I needed some deeper work, and I knew I needed like an expert and basically in dating because I didn't know what I was doing. So I'm like, yeah, I'll go one with the beginner's mindset. And one of our mutual friends told me about it. So
That's right. I
yeah,
remember. Right. From that business organization.
yeah,
I remember now. That's right. Amazing.
Lena.
That's right. Uh, and so then we come together. You wanted help, you wanted support, you knew you needed because you believe in that, in growing. So what was and you felt like you wanted to get help with dating, but ultimately we had to take that protection thing down, right? That wall thing down, right? To know if we don't grow up with healthy modeling, and then we have no idea like what it even is. And deep down, if you didn't really want it or believe in it, then the whole model is like not working. So what was one of the without all the gory details, what was one of the big breakthroughs that you had in the inner shifting part of the work that we did? What did you ultimately discover that helped you?
I really think dissecting what I was telling myself in my head, which is in your course, it's called the disempowering statement to the empowering statement of how I really wanted to feel or what I was looking for. That was huge. And the other shift was um basically that my parents were limited. And like they're never gonna give me what I need, but a spouse will they can. And that's hopeful. So
Totally. Right. So for everyone listening, what we do is we dig in there. It's not like therapy where we're analyzing the past for 5 years and it's open-ended. No, we take a 30,000-foot view, we look at it, we change conditioning, we shift limited beliefs, and we go deep. We go really deep. And so from that place, then you discovered like what you wanted and needed. And so tell us the good stuff. And then you met Todd.
yeah. So gosh, I really had been trying to my dating had become really good. I will say that. And it was just when you can go out and feel really confident on your dates, I mean, especially online dating, it gets such a bad rap. It
It
does.
does. It does.
And so just to feel like, oh, I know how to date. Like I know what I'm looking for. That will work, that won't. And this is why this is going to work. And this is why this won't work. And just knowing that I think was like everything. But when I met Todd, I mean, the moment that I met him, we talked on the phone and then we had a date. And our first date, like I liked the way he looked. That's one of the rules, right? Like, are you attracted to them? And then the deeper that I got to know him, the more he showed up like nobody's ever shown up before. And just sweet ways. And you always told me you need a sweet guy. That's what we want. And like that picture of that, but he's not a wimp. He's a very strong individual. So he's got both ends. And that is ultimately, he's such a good leader. He is such a good leader. And like, that's what I needed. Like, and
Totally.
so there's a lot of redemption going on with some daddy stuff and some mom stuff. And so it's really sweet.
Oh, that's right. Because we learn how to be an empowered dater who goes out there and knows how to find her person and how she wants to feel and how to run that whole process. Just like many of you run companies, you run your family, right? So just like you know how to do things in other areas of your life, you learn how to do that in dating. Just like you can learn how to play piano, you can learn how to find your person.
It's so true.
And Rebecca, you're Christian and you have a strong faith. You have a
Mhm.
strong faith. So what can you share about, sometimes people tell me, "Oh, God will fix it or work it out for me, when it's right, it'll just work itself out." But then it could be like 3 decades and it doesn't, right? So what's your perspective now about spirituality and Christianity and your man and how that all fits together?
So this is what I've always believed, and I do believe this is sound doctrine. God is not going to do what you can do. And so will he push it over the edge? Yeah, absolutely. But you can't just wait and wait, because if you're not doing anything, there's no action behind any of this. He can't do the magic for you. So that is the one thing that I kept meeting like awesome guys, but they really didn't line up that way. And so when I met Todd, like he read my whole profile. And so I knew he was different when, he sent me like 3 sentences worth, I am a Christian, this is who I am, kind of thing. So just automatically out the gate, the tone was different. Like I kind of just want to know this guy.
Right.
So yeah.
And we knew that you were getting closer and closer because it's like a reflection. If we still have
Yes.
misalignments or blocks, or like we're talking now about walls or protection thing, right? So like God's light, like can't shine down, right? If we're misaligned. So we knew. So I remember how you were meeting good guys, but we felt like we cleared that last piece, that last little piece. And then we felt it. He's getting closer and closer, and boom, you met him.
Yep.
So what is wonderful now? You've been single your whole life, working, taking care of your dogs, running a company, being strong, going to church, doing all these things, and but coming home alone. And now, what is your life? It's we were just talking about that before we started the interview.
Yeah.
What is your life like now? Now that you've have Todd?
It's kind of unbelievable in the way that it's 180 degrees different. I mean, seriously, like I don't want to be strong anymore. Like I know that sounds ridiculous.
No, it sounds great.
Um, but like I just want a life of ease, and this man provides that. Like I never have to doubt. Like definitely we're aligned in the fact that like we're gonna put each other number one. Do you know what I mean? And so but he's very thoughtful. He's super attentive. And I appreciate, like he'll have lunch for me and I'm like, I didn't even ask you to do that, just things like that. Or like I was just telling you this, like I ordered this dinner. We're at the like an Italian restaurant, and I ordered the some kind of pasta dish and he got another one. And I
Right.
ate like 2 bites of mine and I'm like, I don't like it. And he goes, here, just we'll trade. And I thought he was just being like, I don't like mine. But no, he was just trying. And I asked him at the end, I was like, did you do that because you didn't like yours? He goes, no, I wanted you to have a meal that you liked. And I'm like, you are like the sweetest. Like it's just these unexpected moments. And he just meets me where I am, but he also will tell me like if we have any type of communication, I mean, everybody says communication's like the hardest or it's the one thing in a marriage that's like you really have to master. And what I appreciate about him is he'll be like, that didn't feel good, and we'll handle it like right then and there. And so it feels really mature. It feels really safe. He's led with transparency the whole time, very vulnerable, but yeah, he's a man. And so it puts me in a spot where I can just kind of lean back and I don't have to be the leader anymore. And it feels good. It feels good.
It's so beautiful. And that's the thing. So many women, many of you who are watching today, we say, I'm strong, I'm independent. So what you're really saying is, I don't need anyone. I don't need a man.
Yeah.
Right. But the truth is, we've been wounded and hurt. And it's kind of like, I don't need a man. But we want a partner. We're human beings. We need that. And we also say that it's in the context of a healthy relationship that we really can heal. We really can heal those childhood wounds, because whereas Rebecca's mother was, narcissistic and her dad wasn't there, because Todd is at the level that she had become, be the one to find the one, he shows up for her. He gives her the meal. He's like, no, I'll take that. You have this, which is something our parents didn't do. Right?
Yeah.
Right. In some cases, but so it really is. And the way we date is very healing, and we have meaningful conversations, because often women tell me, well, I tell men, what I'm looking for. And I'm very vulnerable. But the problem is you're telling it to men who are not emotionally available. So what the hell good is that? Right. So my heart sings when I hear these stories, and I hear these every day. I'm so blessed. Like when you talk about him and the thing with the shoe, remember, like your shoe broke.
Yeah. He bought me another pair of shoes, like date number 2 or 3.
It's so when someone feels that connection and is empathetic and generous, that's the paradigm that it is. So there's nothing to protect ourselves from. So it's very sweet. And now, so what are your conversations like, and what are you most excited about regarding the future with
I
him?
mean, I'm just excited to have him live in my house and like for us just to do life together. I mean, we're doing that right now, but like to really become like one, you know what I mean?
Do.
I just think it's just life is just so much better when you have somebody to share it with. And like my dogs are great and my friends are great, but it's not a husband. Do you know what I
It's
mean? And when you've got somebody who is like a best friend, but like a lover too, it's magic. So you just want to do everything with them.
everything. It's like having a best friend.
Yeah.
Right? It's like having a built-in best friend where no matter what happens, you're safe. You can talk about anything. And most in conventional wisdom, people say, oh, marriage is hard and it's hard work. But when it's rooted in empathy and it's rooted in real connection, it's not hard, because you care so much for the other person. You adore
Right.
that person. You want them to be happy, right?
Yeah.
And so in conversations about the future, how granular do you get in terms of these conversations about what the future is going to look like?
Well, we've gotten pretty granular in terms of, I mean, we've talked about kind of everything, but so the next big thing that's happening in his life is he's about to have his first grandkid, like his daughter. So probably in 2 weeks. So
Oh,
that's going to be a big change, but like, it's going to bring so much joy.
oh,
But stuff is moving so fast. We just bring it up when we bring it up. And then, so, but yeah, I mean, we've talked about our debt. We've talked about our finances,
and
where we're going to
engagement,
live.
and even engagement,
Yeah. 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 All of that, the
all that
timeline and yeah.
timeline, all of that. And you know what else stands out for me? Because many of us did not grow up in close family dynamics. I remember when you shared with me about when you met his mom. Tell us how all of that felt.
Oh my gosh, his family is it is like the dream family for me. Um, I almost cried. It was so his mom was like, I wrote her a letter after I met them, and I'm like, I've always wanted like a really warm and inviting family, and like your family is that, and like she called Todd right away and was like, nobody has ever written us a letter like this. And so she was touched. And then like I'll notice, like if I'm around her, because I've gone to help her. His dad is not doing very well. He's on dialysis. He's like 84. And so anyway, but whenever I'm around her, she'll just like put her hand on my leg. Just so sweet. And then the
She's
dad, I know. But the dad is even the sweeter of the two because he goes, I'm just so glad that Todd has you. He needs you. And I
oh,
almost started crying because I'm like, he needs me. I was like, I need him. I was like, I've been so yearning for like 40 years by myself. And so it's really cool when people echo like what's going on in your heart. Like they could just see it between the two people. And so yeah, just really sweet.
that is so sweet. Because family, you don't just get a husband and a best friend and a life partner, but you get that extended family, which is what you
So,
always really wanted and needed.
yeah.
So that's why it's so healing. That's why it's so healing. And man, oh man, the next time we do something like this, we know like you're gonna be engaged and married and like the whole
Yeah.
thing. The
Yeah.
whole
And it's not scary. It just is. Like
thing is.
the best way I can describe it is it's the most natural feeling relationship I've ever had.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, my heart is singing for you. I'm so happy. Before
Yeah.
it was all about breaking through barriers and we set certain goals and then the next goal and now you're there. Right
Mhm.
now you're in this life. So life
Yeah.
is a journey, is totally a journey. And when you get really committed and you get decisive, and Rebecca is a learner and she is someone who loves to grow as a business coach and an entrepreneur, she's a problem solver. And so, but we can't solve our own problems when it comes to love and intimacy because we're
Right.
totally too close to it. We might know the problems, but we don't know how to solve it. Which leads me to a question. We're going to get down and dirty. Like, what do you want the listeners to know about the willingness to invest in getting support in finding your love?
So this is how somebody put it to me. Like people pay to have babies, like IVF treatments. And if that is your heart's desire, and your heart's desire is to go and have that baby, or if it's to go get married, what's the difference? I don't know why there's some stigma about, oh, I can't find love. It really is. That was the thing that pushed me over the edge. I don't know if I ever shared that with you, but like that is the thing that like give yourself permission to invest in yourself, because when somebody put it like that, it was a man who told me that, and he was like, I don't think there's any shame in going and paying somebody to help you figure that out. I mean, it's just like if your body's not getting you pregnant, what's the difference? I mean, it's kind of the same.
Right, right, exactly. It is the same. We get support in personal training, in health coaching. We get master's degree, we get a graduate degree, we learn instruments and everything. And so we want to really take stigma or shame off the table. As a matter of fact, the smartest people on the planet have mentors, right? And they grow and they develop. So yeah, that is great. And it's been just such a beautiful journey of seeing you transform and really take the walls down and come into your truth and your essence. And those pictures with Todd, oh my God, you guys are total soulmates. I'm looking because you just look like soulmates. And when you're together and he makes you so happy, oh my God, it makes me so happy. So yeah. I mean, you guys even kind of like look alike. I find that happens all the time.
I know there's something about our noses that kind of looks alike.
You do. And all those pictures like in New York and the pictures over Thanksgiving and Christmas, and now your life is so different. Now I can't even get you. You're so busy in your life with your soulmate, which is what we all want. So Rebecca, thank you so much for sharing with us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so beautiful. And just sending you so many blessings and joy and happiness. And it's going to be fun to watch it all unfold. Watch it all unfold because
Unfolding every day.
unfolding every day, right? Because you were willing to set a future focused goal and then come back to today and tear down the walls. Not fake self-love, but really getting to the essence. No more self-protection because you opened up and you got aligned. You attracted a man who is in full alignment. So it's
Yep.
beautiful. Okay, great. So thank you so much.
You're
And
welcome.